You've been placed on hold. Please wait. You've been placed on hold. Please wait.
Hey.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's all you need to do.
There we go. That's all we needed to do.
That's all we needed to do.
Just to think it was so simple and we wasted so much time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I caught up on Facebook and so it was wasted.
That's great for you. I've been looking at a phone wondering why it won't merge calls whilst you've been surfing Facebook. So that's excellent. Okay.
Sent a few messages, sent a few texts.
Good. I'm glad you were constructive with your time. I did notice the thread going off a little bit there. I think I've got 10 messages on there I haven't seen at the moment.
Which I'm not going to talk about. The only thing we need to know is who talks first. You've got your stuff written down. You say hello, and then we'll just follow. That's all we need to do.
Well, I think we're pretty much here already. I suppose the only thing we've got to do is say welcome to the Big Blue Tent. Podcast number 1. Wednesday, the 3rd of May, 2017. With
a day that will live.
And Aidan Burke.
A day that will live in infamy.
It will.
So,
I think something that people should be maybe noting down as a future bank holiday in the UK.
That'll be ace.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to be a patron saint. So, what are we
don't
talking
sell
about?
yourself short, buddy.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Okay, well, it's toy cars. It's UK toy cars and the generally 1/10 off-road electric racing scene, which seems to be pretty much the biggest one in England at the moment. There's lots of other classes out there and lots of clubs running lots and lots of different things and all doing a fantastic job. And I'm sure we'll not just cover the 1/10 stuff, but we'll talk about, all the other bits and bobs that are going on from, I don't know, we might venture into some on-road and some fifth scale and, I know.
No. Well, I think we've got to go a long way before we even talk about the flat stuff.
There's a lot to talk about. Look, there's plenty to talk about before we run out of things to talk about. And I'm just saying, when we do, there are other things we can fill our time with.
Brilliant. Great. So what are our plans for the weekend? Oh, you're not going racing, are you?
I'm not going racing this weekend. No, Cornwall has been cancelled.
Cornwall has been cancelled. Did just not want you to go?
The Southwest Regional Round number 1, unfortunately, has been called off due to the weather. I suppose suppose, news of the weekend down in my neck of the woods. Everybody
It has
seems
been
to be
called...
looking for bits and bobs to do this weekend, so there's lots of talk of places to go, but none for me, unfortunately.
Okay. It has been called off quite early, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Wednesday.
I think what you've got to remember is that the place they hold this is a cricket ground.
Oh, it is a grass track.
It's a grass track. If there's any hint of really doing damage to that place, let's not ruin it for a better time in the year.
Yeah.
Let's preserve that and make sure that there is always a grass track to be able to go to. Because if the cricket ground get annoyed, because the cars have wrecked a part of it, whether it be a particularly important part or not.
Yeah, it doesn't look nice.
You don't want to lose it altogether, do you? So as annoying as the weather is, I think it's a wise choice to make for making sure it's there for the next time.
And it's a fair distance for you, isn't it? I think it's like round the corner.
Yeah, God. Well, the thing is, mate, they're down in I'm sure to other countries that are much, much bigger than the UK, me moaning about a 2 or 3 hour drive from where I am to go even further south isn't going to sound like much of a moan, but that's kind of a long way for us, isn't it? 2-3 hours past me seems like it should be in the sea.
And there's people coming further north than you.
Oh God, yeah.
So okay, well,
yeah, the northerners of the southwest.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we are racing. Our forecast is great, and we're on our first round of the region at Bury. Yay, Bury! So we are all super excited for that. There's like 110 booked in. The practice heat list is all. It will be great.
Well, Bury's always been one of my favourite tracks, mate. You know that? Bury is a fantastic track. Yeah, great track. 110 booked in. Is that 2 and 4-wheel drive, or is it just 2-wheel drive?
Yeah, we do 2 and 4-wheel drive on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way we've done it. I think we've always done it in the Northwest. It does make it. Some people think that's great, get it all done in one day. Other people say too short a day, but it's great. We've only got 5 rounds this year. There's Bury's first. Probably, I don't know if we go to Northwest Nitro, some 1/8 track. That'll be exciting. I'm going there next week to have a look at it. So if we ever do this again, I can tell you more about Northwest Nitro's track. Then we do our 2 grass tracks in South Lakes and Barrow, and then we come back to Southport in the summer. Should be great. We have also got.
Which one's the one that's just picked up a load of Astro?
I believe that Barrow or Ulverston or whatever they're calling themselves this week, because they have moved about a bit. New club, just started, not been going many years, have bought a load of new Astro. No, they bought a load of Astro, some epic amount. I've been chatting to a few. They don't know exactly what they're doing with it. I think they're just going to basically lie it on the ground and see what happens.
I think put it on the floor, see what the floor makes the shape of, and work with that.
They have got some pretty handy guys, I think, in Barrow, who can drive diggers and things like that. So I'm sure they can do some bits, but I think my view to them is just sticking on the floor. Once
surely the track's there already, isn't it? Yeah,
they have. They've built a rostrum. They're in some sort of sports club, and then they put a lovely fence round it. I saw the other day. So again, it's how much the people of Barrow and Ulverston and South Lakes and those guys really want it, because hauling Astro.
You'd be mad not to change if you had the option to, I think.
Wow. So we've got that. So we've got that done. Because the weather's just forecast looks dry every day, we'll just be on it would be on darts, you know. We've been one of them all at the beginning of the season, and I was speaking to Evo, and Evo said 2 sets should do you the day, which we seem to be quite happy with. Evo's very happy with that because he's got a load of darts with like 1 run on them when he went to Telford last week.
Yeah, see, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? It's such a tie game now. You've got to, you know, I think it is high time that there was a tie that lasted a day, not just. Do you know what I mean? Half a day for a tyre. If people are swapping tyres, rear tyres twice in a day, it just seems like, you know, how much money can you throw at the back end of your car seems to be the key to getting in front.
Yeah, it is. I think for some, but to be honest, if this is the regional, this is the most important race, you know, as standings go, with a bigger group of people, the whole Northwest region, nationally, you know, like you get your racing that works all round. So if I can throw 2 sets of darts on, know that they're going to be fine for the whole day, and then next time I go to Southport, I could still probably run a 1 set of darts.
How long would you run them for, though?
Well, I put a 1 set of darts on Sunday. I think it did have 3-4 runs maybe at Robin Hood, but as I kept breaking Robin Hood, but we'll talk about that later. And then I just ran them all day. And for the final, I spun them round. And it was fine. I had too much grip. The back of my car was too soft. But, so, I think that's it. We've all got plenty of tyres. I'll tell you what we should do now. What we should do now is we should mention that, of course, if anyone wants any tyres, they should speak to Mike Parker. Because we can't have any kind of big blue tent thing without mentioning Mike Parker.
No, number 5 RC.
Yeah, let's just get that out of the word, just so I can have a hug when I see him next to Broxtowe.
He'd give you a hug anyway.
Yeah, he would, but I just want to cement my Saturday morning hug, and that's where I'll be picking up my Broxtowe tyres at www.number5. Has he got a dash in that? RC?
No, not in the website.
Just send him a Facebook message. That's all you need to do.
That's probably best. Look for him on Facebook. Yeah, look for the Big Blue Tent page. You will find Mike Parker.
There we go.
Number 5 RC.
Number 5 RC. So yeah, there we go. Mike Parker's really happy. Hopefully now. I think he's on holiday.
Well, you know, with all the tyres he's about to sell, he can afford to.
Yeah, he can do. Yeah, I think he's ordered 3 times more. Because we both went to Robin Hood. That's 2 weeks ago.
I don't want to talk about Robin Hood.
No. Okay, let's take Robin Hood by days, and that'll come clear when we talk about it for days. We got there on Friday at 12 o'clock. We set up, and I had 7 hours of the best RC toy car driving time ever. It's absolutely epic.
Can't deny it. The Friday when we turned up, it was dry. It wasn't too cold. I think it's fairly well documented how nice it was. Pretty much all evening on the Friday, the sun was out. Yeah, that was an awesome evening of toy carring. That was. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and that was on the Bradby Cup layout, I think.
Was that the one they ran for that one?
Yeah, that was the practice run they ran, and then they changed it after we left.
After we burned through 2 sets of tyres.
After we burned through 2 complete sets of tyres from out of the packet to we'll never see the light of day again. No.
I knew you were moaning about using 2 sets a day on a race day. But I loved that Friday. It was the Opel first round. It was very early because I think Damo was on holiday or wanted to go on holiday.
Hang on a minute. You say I'm moaning about using 2 sets in a race day. How many minutes are you on the track on a 1/10 race day? For a regional, how many minutes? All right, even if you're in an A final and you've got triple A finals, how many minutes are you on the track?
We don't do that. Write that down. If you've got a pen and a piece of paper, write down 3-minute 3-leg day finals, because I'll give you 10 minutes of violent abuse over how that shouldn't happen. The first thing I did when I got any involved in the regional repping thing is get rid of them. But it was.
So you're going to get at most 35 minutes, and you would have used.
Use them again?
If you're in the A final, okay, you would have used 2, maybe 3 sets. If you really wanted to push in the last leg, you'd have chucked another set on. So that day has cost you 3 sets of brand new tyres. It has. Mm-hmm. You've taken them out. They're never going to be brand new again. The evening we went to Broxtowe, I used 2 sets of tyres, but I was on the track for.
You said Brox.
Sorry, not on the Broxtowe, Robin Hood. Hours and hours and hours. I had hours of time on that track.
It was a great day. It's a great venue, Robin Hood. That, they've got 2 tracks. They're going to have 3. I want to know next time, can I just stay in that big static caravan they've got?
Mm-hmm.
The timing was on.
James Halliwell needs to paint the caravan at Robin Hood blue, and it needs to be the big blue caravan.
Yeah, that's it. We'll have that. The timing was on. As you did your lap, it told you what your lap was. I've never really had that on a practice day. That was great. That was epic. And then we had a quiet night. We had some bad steaks. They were really bad steaks.
Well, you hang on a minute. You had some bad steaks. I had a mediocre. I'm not sure if it was a gammon steak or just a really thick bit of curvy bacon.
Oh yeah, because Borley and Garner got the last of the steaks.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then Saturday. So we turned up to Saturday at Robin Hood. We did some practice. I think I did okay in the first one. Not great in the second one. Okay again in the third one. And then I decided that I was going to break the car every round then.
See, practice was great for me on Saturday morning. Practice was great. I thought the layout was fantastic. The way they changed, I thought the track was just awesome. The way it ran was really good. It was very similar to the one that had been there before.
Yes.
There were a few corners that had changed, and you went over a couple of different things and hit things slightly differently, but it wasn't that far off from what we've been practicing on, so it was fairly easy to get into the swing of it, I thought, on the Saturday morning. And then round 1 of qualifying was fantastic. That was TQ for me in the big blue tent. I think we'll find him in round 1. And then, I'm not sure I got through a round after that.
No, you had issues.
Yeah. I think the round 2, I got 2 laps. I think it was the second lap I got round, and then that was it. That was it. It was over at that point.
Oh yeah. You were in the heat above me, weren't you? So I was you were in the heat above me, so I was marshalling your heat. You were in a good heat. You were in a good heat. Yeah,
that was a good heat. Yeah.
And so Saturday never ended well. We had a nice quiet Saturday. And then we started Sunday, a bit of practice.
Well, hang on, Saturday, if you remember, my Saturday wasn't nice and calm and chilled. My Saturday was spent running after my car towards the dual carriageway.
Oh, yes, yeah, we got that. That was a great one. You can only tell that story because your car didn't actually go into the motorway.
No, and thank God for the small plastic trees that were along the side of that very steep bank. They were the only things that stopped it.
So I was fine, but I did some quick prep which I thought fixed my car, but it didn't. And so then we got there on Sunday, bit of practice. I think I just threw my car on and went, yeah, it's fine, it works, that'll be great. And then broke it in the last qualifier, and broke it in the first final. Oh no, we did okay in the first final, and then broke it in the second final. And in the third final, I had a bit of an issue with a radio, so I don't think I started that one. So it wasn't still a great weekend. That we really do enjoy our Opals. Hang
on. This is taking nothing away from the venue of the weekend. It was.
Oh, epic!
God, yeah, epic weekend of racing. It always is. Every time you go there, it is. We go off to it's a very long way for me.
Yeah, I had a great heat all the way through the day. Did turn around and go, cheers, guys. Thanks very much. We've had a great heat. If I've had a half decent run, people have got out of my way. And as far as having a shocker, I got having others. It was a load of old fellas in there, all nice. So great weekend. Broxtowe comes up in 2 weeks. Oh, probably less than 2 weeks' time. Broxtowe now, isn't it?
I think we're 2 weekends away.
2 weekends away from Broxtowe. So that was us 2 weeks ago, and then so that was great. We'll be attending most of the Opal rounds this year. Looking forward to Broxtowe, and then is it then Mendip, and then Bury.
No, it's not. It's Teesside, but that's not one that I think anybody, or that we're certainly the Big Blue 10 guys, or the sort of main bundle are going to anyway.
No.
But the next one that everybody's going to be together will be the Mendip round.
Nice.
And then, finishing off at Bury, and of course after that in August they do the Invernational back at Robin Hood again.
Right, yeah, they do, yeah. I don't think I'm going to that.
I think for me that's probably going to be the next one that I get to. I think other than being able to get to Mendip in the evenings after work in the week, for me it's going to be a bit of a wait. There's other things going on in the background at the moment, so we will still be at the races. We just won't be competing for a little while.
Okay, so but tell you, it was a great link. If we had links, that would be a great link, because tell you who was competing. All the top boys were at the first round of the Nationals at Telford on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, there you go. I think obviously the main point to take from the Telford National is that you can't touch a B6 on Astro. I think that's pretty much all there is to say about last weekend. I think we can move on.
I think it. Clearly, I'm going to say now. For anyone who doesn't know me, I do love Lee. But I think if you look at the finals, they were super close. Certainly,
I certainly wouldn't have said the last final was particularly close at all.
No. Well, I can tell you what I'm blaming there. I'm blaming the commentator.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I can see how he. Yeah.
Lee rolled it twice.
Yeah.
And then the commentators start talking about how it's all completely over. You're never going to catch Neil, which is kind of true. That you couldn't. No one caught him. But then 10 seconds later, it goes, Lee's done at 22.06. Unfortunately, then he rolled it again. But
it's great being able to put in a quick lap, mate. You can put in as many quick laps as you want if you're going to put it on your roof.
I've not been to Telford. It looks like a decent sized track. It looks a bit like Southport, quite flat.
It didn't look very flat to me.
There's some big.
It didn't look ironed flat like Southport. It looked there was more raceable space on that than you've got at the likes of Broxtowe or the likes of Mendip as a track. There was clearly more space to be able to race around on it, but it's certainly not a flat track by any standards.
Well, I was thinking I'm going to Bury this weekend. And, Berry's got a lot more stuff going on. But so you're going to just turn around and say Associated won it, therefore it was the right decision. I'm going to say I don't think as a yoke boy, I don't think we qualified well, but we still had our three top guys in and about the A's. Simon Ross came third. Well, apparently as part of commentary, we get told that he's had a break over the winter and hadn't really done any racing. We never got told who was positioned 7, 8, and 9 throughout the race, but it's nice to know Simon Ross had a holiday. And then he came and he did third. In fact, I think he got second in the last race final. I don't know if he took Lee. So that's helped him. He's had a great one. And Yardy in the 4-wheel drive, and clearly I care less about 4-wheel drive. I didn't think anyone liked the Schumacher. There's certainly not many Schumacher K2s I see in the Northwest. Yeah, he looked a class above.
It's gone. It's been very well received. I think the new Schumacher it look, from what I've seen of it, it does look like a very good, very quick car on the track. But then all of the Schumachers have. I think the thing with it is that you've like all of them, if you're not pushing that car at 120% all the time, it doesn't work. It falls off the edge of a cliff, and it's great if you've got the skill to be able to push it that hard.
Right, it's got belts. I'm therefore scared of it.
Yeah. I don't do belt drive cars, so yeah, not for me.
I'm sure they're great, but no
I'm
belts.
sure they are great. Quiet.
And then the other point there was an awful lot of X-rays. X-ray boys must be jumping up and down.
Well, everybody knows you're not actually going to get first at a national when Craig turns up with a V6. So I'd imagine everybody else in that A final was as happy as Larry to have had a chance of coming second.
Well, I thought, the X-ray boys are going to be really happy. Never mind Paul. We had some, other guys, guys I've never heard of, but that I never been to Telford, who would put some great scores in, and I'm going to say it's fair to say, I don't know if it is or not, that X-ray haven't really got the level of drivers that anyone else has got. They haven't got a Yardy. They haven't got I know there's not many people. They haven't got a Yardy. They haven't got a Lee. They haven't got a Neil. They haven't got a Collinson.
Maybe not in the UK, no.
No. And that's sorry. We're talking about the UK nationals. They haven't got them in 1/10. I don't know enough about what the rest of, but the guys who showed up now. Eugene Galley won that. Going back to Opel, pretty sure he won that. I think it was streets ahead of all of us by well, never mind streets.
Well, I mean, I think there's some clear reasons why there aren't any particularly top drivers for X-ray in the country at the moment. I mean, who do you go to for your bits?
You go to Disco, don't you?
Yeah, or do you just go on Amazon?
Oh, you can go on Amazon. You can go on Amazon. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's the advantage?
Well, again, this is
this is why the team thing has kicked off, because people.
Hang on. Before we talk about that, so are we happy that you're just saying the national Neil turns up with a B6 and he wins? So when the next national tour,
hang on, I've no doubt Neil will wipe the floor with everybody at Torch. I've no doubt about it. It's always going to be close between Neil and Lee, because they are, as far as driving skills go, two of the best in the world. They're within a seconds of each other wherever they go.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
Really,
any track they go on, they're racing each other. So it's, you know, and it's good to see. It's always a good race between them. You know, they're both very, very courteous, and you know, the racing standards between them and the etiquette is great to see. Even in the very, very top of the British 10th racing scene, you know, they're stopping and waiting for each other, and they're you know, it is really good to see between them. But at the end of the day, mate, I think what you'll find is Craggy only needs to turn up to do enough rounds to count at the Nationals, and he's going to take it. I don't think that there's any other spots to be going for other than second place this year, especially in two-wheel drive.
Do you think it's all to do with beards? You know, the only two decent beards
thing
in the A final, where, you know, I think Lee was relatively clean shaven, where it was Craggy and Lee. You know, I don't think there was any other beards in the A. So maybe
it wouldn't surprise me if you've got a bit of Lee's beard somewhere in your car. It really wouldn't.
In my pillow. No. I keep all the handwritten notes in a pillow. I scrumple them all up and put them in a pillow.
Maybe just in a sealed bag in your wallet somewhere.
No, in my pillow. And how did anyone else do? Because I did see quite a few pictures from Telford. I'm just trying to think of other guys who were there. What's your mate? Serge was there. Great drivers all the way through. Yeah.
You know, if you've got people like Ben Jameson in the D final, you know, there's some top drivers at that national. I think everybody knew it was going to be a decent weekend, and you know, a lot of people turned up for it. So it was, it was a good show all round, really. You know, every final that I watched because you can see it on YouTube from, you know, all three legs of the A final all the way down to the the J final.
Who? Do we know who's done that? It's like Eddie Murphy or something.
Yeah, I can find out if you give me a second. I mean, there was some top guys there.
People watch all those files. They're great. That's a great video. You know, it's real high quality stuff. You can hear the commentary. You just follow the lead cars.
It's all Murphy. There you go. IDDL Murphy.
Right.
All one word. Go and have a look on YouTube, and you'll be able to see the Telford Nationals from last weekend.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
That's something that needs to be done more at clubs. People want to see the racing. People want to be able to learn from it and learn from what they do on the track. I've certainly learned from doing it, and on the videos that I've done on the Big Blue Tent channel on YouTube. I've made some real good progress learning from looking back at things that I've done. You can see your lines, you can see where you've gone wrong, where you've made mistakes, and you can pick stuff up, and you get a much better view of how your car's moving, because you've actually got time to watch it rather than worrying about the race. You can actually watch what's happening on the track, and it really does help. I think if there's somebody at a club with a camera and you stood next to the track, record the race that's going on in front of you and just post it on Facebook or post it on YouTube or put it up. Because we want to see it, you know.
Yeah, we had them out indoors. It was good. That was Doreen. Yay, Doreen! Well done, Doreen, for taking.
Well done, Doreen.
For uploading them to YouTube. Maybe I should just give my camera to Doreen. Hi, Doreen. Just press that. Right, that's great. And then you upload it. Do that. Yeah, because you are a big fan. You do record quite a few of your races, don't you, with that GoPro on your head?
Oh, yeah. I've got so used to looking like an idiot now, I just don't care anymore, and I will stick that upside down thong on my head at any point through the day and get the GoPro going and record some racing. It's quite good with the big wide angles that it's got. You get a lot of the track in, so I think other people can pick up on a lot of what they're doing, as well as, you know, me following my car around. So yeah, it works really well. So I think I would recommend it to anybody to get a head cam for your racing. It really helps to keep an eye on what you're doing, I suppose.
Okay. Well, I'll try and stick mine on, and I'll open the regional on Sunday. And if nothing else,
you took yours to Robin Hood and you didn't wear it once. The likelihood of you recording anything is minimal.
No, I've got it sorted because I can just post you the card. We discussed that the other day. I'll just post you the card, and then eventually it will go up. It will go up.
So is that my life from now on? Editing videos of yours and soundtracks and things. Excellent.
Yeah. Intros, funny noises, flashy signs, all those things. So we should have done this bit at the beginning. You know, why are we chatting to each other in a car and recording it? Quite weird. But I think I've got listening to that Loop is Live podcast with Jeff. Who's the other fella?
Bobby Moore.
Jeff and Bobby.
Jeff Heaton and Bobby Moore.
But they're great. Add them. Get them on your Facebook. Follow the Loop is Live.
Add them on Facebook. Follow Loop is Live on your podcast. It's well worth a listen. It's all American scene, and a lot of it's the sort of 8th Nitro. But they have a lot of the top world-class drivers on for interviews. They chat to people like JQ, and, you know, these are two absolutely top-level drivers themselves. Maybe slightly older guys now, you know. Probably in the you know, if they came over here, I think they'd be in the same group as you, wouldn't they?
Which way?
In you know, the sort of how do I say, the older gentlemen.
Are you saying vets?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that to Bobby or Jeff because, well, I think I've only seen pictures of one, but he seems like if there was a fight, I'd be on his side.
Well, look, I'm far enough away for it to be okay, I think.
Yeah. If they're 9 hours away from each other and can still do this, possibly 3 hours away and catching up every so often shouldn't be a problem. I did listen to the one they did last night where they interviewed Rhonda Drake. So, Adam Drake? Let's call him the Drake. They called him the Drake. The Drake's wife.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. And
why the Drake, let's just call him Max, can't remember his first name. When the Drake left TLR, which, you know, let's get this out of the way, we think everyone should leave anything to do with Lossy. He left.
I can't believe you said it, to be honest.
Well, we've got to get this out. You know, we've got to be honest. You know, there are certain manufacturers, for no fault of their own, absolutely no fault of their own,
just produce the worst cars on the planet.
Well, no, let's get that wrong. You know, I've been battered many times this season by a Lossy 22. The new one seems great, and there's a brand new one out, you know, this week or whatever. But, you know, just you've got to hate something. And I'm not saying, you know, in many years in the time, you know, I suppose our phone call would be in German for Horizon Hobby Germany to phone me up and go, "Oh, Aidan, would you like to drive a TLR?" "Yeah, no problem, mate, that'd be great, thanks." Always loved you. And then at that point, you could send him this video or this recording about how I got like. But he left TLR. Apparently, TLR were mean. Here's how TLR were mean. He just finished doing all the testing and runs and doing the books and the setup things for like the Lossy 8 point something. I don't know if it was the 0.4 or the 0.3, right? He'd finished that on the Sunday, sent him all his paperwork saying, these are all the bits you need to do or whatever, you know, this is the setup sheet, these are all the things, that this is what works. And then they phoned him on Monday and fired him or made him redundant.
Well, you know, I guess sometimes decisions are made and you're never going to please all of the people when you make them.
No.
You look at a classic example is what happened with the regional this weekend down here. Someone's had to make a choice on that to call that race event off.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to get it in the neck because the weather has caused the situation that they can't do anything about. But because they've got to make that decision, they are the most hated people on the planet.
Yeah, I think Rhonda was talking about how, it's just business. We don't, clearly we'd have no idea of what goes on. She goes, it's just the corporate world. And actually she had left, I think, TLR before that. In fact, she left Mugen to join TLR, then apparently didn't get on with the TLR car. And I don't know much about Rhonda's career or how good she is, but she's always there herself. You don't just let someone's wife or so expect she's brilliant. Then she went to Mugen, and then when the Drake left TLR, he had many offers, and he chose Mugen anyway. It wasn't because of her. It was just like, oh, wow, that works really well. Mugen don't make a 1/10 off-road, so therefore I know nothing about Mugen.
No, not a thing. Even though your favourite person in the world used to have one.
Yes, Lee did drive for Mugen for a bit, but now...
What happened there? What happened? Why doesn't he drive for them anymore?
Well, I think Mugen did move a lot of drivers on this year.
Right, okay.
It didn't, again, it's 1/8, I'm not an expert, but that's where Mayfield went. So Mayfield then left TLR, and please apologise to any, one thing, again, great, well done. Yeah, I'm sure the 10 times I phoned Mayfield and go, you should leave TLR. He was in Mugen, so people changed, and then Lee's joined Infinity, is that what it is? Creation, Infinity, something like that, which is apparently some massive Chinese organisation. And they do seem to have got, a lot of drivers who I don't know, not being funny. I think they must be more 1/8 on-road, off-road. And so when they said, oh, they've signed this fella, I've got no idea who he is. He's not Lee, He's no one I know, so therefore I don't care. That's a bit of, sorry, it's 1/8. Surely what we should do is we'll try and find some 1/8 people.
I think that would be a good idea. I think there's plenty of off-road stuff to talk about, but, clearly we want to make sure that everybody, because we don't want to discriminate against anybody that plays with toy cars of any shape or form, So I think we should definitely talk to a few different people, a few different classes of drivers, and get a sort of wider view on how people feel the scene is in the UK for RC, what their feel is on the tracks that they race at. It'd be good to hear that from the racers out there. If people want to join up on the Big Blue Tent page, they can do that. Always happy to hear people's opinions on there. That's what it's there for. It's just a free platform, very much like this. Just a voice some views, talk about racing, and have a space to have your say.
Yeah, and also we really need, if we're going to try and do this again more regularly, whatever, then finding some other weirdos who are willing to have a telephone conversation, no matter where they are in the world, which we then record, which we then put on the internet somehow, somewhere, whatever, can only make everyone's job easier. And we don't care who they would be. If someone wants to come and tell us about GT12 or 1/8, then that would be great. That would be great.
I think that would be great. It's always good to learn something new.
But also, clearly, we'd like to hear from the people who know us, that they're more likely to talk to us. We don't want a stalking incident. So ideally, we find someone who kind of knows. Again, we don't want any of that. I don't want to be sat in a bush And
I think we've got more than enough of Lee Martin's bin bags in your house.
yeah. Well, I feel like there's a fella called Kenny Mock who loves him more than I do. I'm going to admit that. He loves Lee more than I do. So what Kenny does is Kenny gets them because he lives closer, and then he distributes them to all of Lee's fans.
Well, it's good of him.
It's like eBay of Lee Martin's rubbish. It's perfectly normal. There's nothing bad.
Do you get
about
to get some of his old shock seals?
Well, no, because the yoke ones swell quite quickly, so you don't really want shock seals. You're not going to dig his old yoke. Maybe we should go to his rubbish and see if he is using yoke shock seals.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You got to look at all the sponsors kicking off about tyres and all sorts going on. Well, yeah, it would be interesting to see what people are running under their shelves, really.
I don't think there's that much in 1/10 off-road. To be honest, mate, unless the Nationals at Southport, I'm not going. And if the Southport Nationals on this year, I'm not running in it. But how much is actually... It'd be interesting to speak to some of those guys and figure out exactly how much do they have to run, How much does, just picking people at random, how much does Kev Lee ever look at someone's car and go, right, why are you running one of them? I'd sell these. Because I think most of the guys who are sponsored or helped or something like that, they really want to help the people who are helping them, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like, you've spoken about it before, it's like a pride where they turn around and they're helping me in whichever way, and it goes from have a free car to I won't charge you your postage, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They actually will stick with the brands they're supposed to stick with.
I think that loyalty is the thing that teams really want. It's all very well going from jumping from one team to another to the best deal next time. If you stick with the team, if you learn the car, if you learn the product, you're naturally better for it. I'm sorry, but unless you've come from a off-the-shelf, ready-to-run car with totally stock electrics in it that just shouldn't really be on a racetrack anyway. Yeah. Unless you've come from that and then gone to a proper race spec car with electrics and servo and you've got it set up properly, that's kind of a big jump that people make. But swapping from brand to brand, I've watched top drivers in the region go from one brand to another, and every year they're just looking for the next deal. They're just looking for a better deal the year after, and they're not getting a new car and going, I'm this much better. They're not moving on to, although you hear all the preaching that this is the best car in the world, this will wipe the floor with everything, but they were doing that last year, and they were doing that the year before, because they are that much of a level above your average club racer. I'd say you and I are reasonably sort of maybe slightly above average club racers as far as the scene goes.
I love that. Let's start bragging early doors and calling ourselves above average. I'm going to flaunt my F3 this weekend.
Well, isn't that kind of, just slightly above average?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I realised I was just about to launch into terrain, and I was disagreeing with myself halfway through. So I was hoping you wasn't actually going to pick that up, but I could just carry on talking. Just that's that. So I think keep going on, do we? Because we should have a bit more structure. I'm sure it'll get better. We chatted briefly about what we're doing, who we are, what we're doing. We've chatted briefly about the national. We've talked about Cornwall being called off. We've talked about looking forward to Bury. We've done really well. We talked about loads. We talked about our times at Robin Hood Oupel, Oupel Round. He talks about Northwest and Barrow and South Lakes. By God, we've done well. And I think that's just what.
God.
Yeah, teams. We've done teams.
Tyres.
Loads of tyres. We've done tyres briefly.
I've had moments on this stuff before you've gone off on your long rants this evening. I've had moments of time. I'm sure I have more to say on these subjects. I'm sure I've been reasonably well behaved this evening compared to, I don't know, some of the things you may normally hear me say. But yeah, okay, yeah, I think we've done quite well. I think we've covered quite a few things.
Yeah, and we'll
I'm sure we'll be circling back to a few of them.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll try and get some people on. We have to find, special people who think this is acceptable. There's bound to be a few of them. Who do you want? Who do you want? Who do you want? Who do you want? Who is your number? Who do you want to phone us? Who's number one on your list?
Okay, I just wanted to give it a moment of silence there, just to remind you that we can cut this at any point. It is just a music file. I'm going to put it onto the editing thing, and obviously this bit here at 51 minutes and 51 minutes I'm going to chop out. But don't be worried about if you want to go, oh man, hang on, let me say that again.
Yeah, that's fine. No, things been good, mate. Things been good. I think what we should do is just wrap it up, right? And finish. Okay? So if we kind of go back and do that and say, well, I've enjoyed myself, that kind of thing, and then we'll do that, and then we'll stop it and call each other back.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we have. We've covered a lot of topics, and I think what we should do is maybe wrap it up here. And if people want to hear any more chat from us too about toy cars, then you can find us on the Big Blue Tent Facebook page, Big Blue Tent Racing. I think we need to say a quick thank you to a few of our sponsors. So clearly number 5 RC.
Yes.
Nuclear RC. It's another one. They provide our tyre glue and acetone for the team.
I haven't got any acetone off them.
Well, I have lots.
Okay.
Jet Set Robot, our 3D printing genius, and genius in many ways of technology and other things. Yeah, he's busy at the moment. He did send me a message. He did send me a message and go, he's just busy today, but we'll definitely get Seddon on. And he's got bearing glue. No, we haven't got. Let's bring out bearing glue. That'll be great. Let's bring out bearing glue. We'll be handing that out at the next Super round. To all the TLR drivers. Of course, we got to get Seddon on at some point. But then, there's RC Octane as well down in the southwest. John Finch, we'll get him on. Have a chat to him about the new shop. Well, not so new shop anymore. He's been around a little while now, but we'll have a chat to him about how things have been going and how he's found it breaking into the UK RC scene with a new shop. That's pretty much all of them out there, isn't it? Well, yeah, we could go on for another 10 minutes. We can mention everybody, but I'm sure we'll catch them up. Let's say next week when we do this again. Is that all right, mate? Well, next week sounds great to me. I'm not sure we should make any other conversation between now and then. No, let's never speak again. And only record our telephone calls. No, Jim, on a Wednesday. On a Wednesday. So I've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed it, mate. At least one person listens to it. Well, I'll probably listen to it, so at least one person will listen to it. Yeah, I'll make it that we can make it our drivers briefing at Southport, so I can make sure everyone listens to it. And if they don't subscribe, we'll kick them at the tent.
That's,
I think that's important.
Okay, that's brilliant, mate. Okay, thanks a lot. I've enjoyed myself.
Me too.
I'll catch up with everyone later. I'll see you all on Sunday. All right, cheers.
Okay. Take care, mate. See you soon.
Bye now, bye.